Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Snowboard Panda. I'm back with the second video in our Introduction to Jumps series. So in the first video, we went over the basics of hitting your first jump. If you haven't seen that yet, I'll put a link right here, as well as one in the description, so check that out first. In this video, I'm going to go over the top 5 mistakes that can prevent you from landing those jumps. And stay tuned till the end of the video, where I'll give you one more bonus mistake that really encompasses all the mistakes put together. So let's get right into it. Mistake number 1 is opening your front shoulder. So this can really come about in 2 ways. You could think of it as opening your front shoulder where your chest is facing the jump, or getting on that heel edge. Either one is going to lead to the other one, so they're really the same thing. Both are going to make you turn and open up while you're in the air, or right when you're landing, or maybe before you're even hitting the jump. You don't want to do any of those things. It can throw off your balance and make you fall backwards on your butt or your back. So if you find yourself falling backwards or landing sideways, make sure you're not opening that front shoulder or turning on that heel edge. You want to ride into the jump completely stacked with your front shoulder and front hand on top of the nose of your board. All right, mistake number 2 is bending too much at the waist. So what I mean by that is bending forward this way. You might be trying to maybe get closer to the ground, but this throws off your center of gravity. So if you find yourself falling onto your knees or your stomach, make sure that you're not bending over too far at the waist. You will have a slight bend there, it's just natural, but you want to make sure you're not overdoing it. All right, mistake number 3, putting too much weight over your back foot. So whenever you're actually approaching the jump, you want to make sure your weight is stacked on top of the center of your board and you're not leaning towards your back foot. If you do this, you're going to be moving your center of gravity backwards, and when you get in the air, you might be flailing your arms or even falling in that direction over the tail of your board. So the entire time you're approaching in the air and landing, make sure that your weight is evenly distributed over your 2 feet on top of the center of your board. All right, mistake number 4 is jumping with your feet. So what I mean by this is, if you watched the first video in the series, you'll notice that I said when you are hitting your first jump or trying to learn jumps for the first time, you want to keep it as simple as possible and just ride over the jump. Don't make it complicated by trying to get more air than the jump's just going to naturally give you. You definitely don't want to jump with your feet like you might see some people do when they're jumping rope, where they kick their feet up behind them, maybe to make sure the rope is actually going to go under their feet. You don't want to do that when you're jumping rope, and you definitely don't want to do that while you're snowboarding and hitting jumps on a snowboard. So think about keeping your base completely flat and parallel to the ground. And as I said in the first video of the series, just ride over the jump. In the future, when you feel comfortable with that and you want to get more air, you can pop. But for now, just ride over. So just keep your base completely flat and simply ride over the jump. All right, mistake number 5 is going into the jump and being in the air completely straight leg. So you want to make sure that you bend your knees the entire time, the approach while you're in the air, absorbing the landing and riding away. If you're in the air and you have completely straight legs, it's just going to make it harder to stay balanced. The lower your center of gravity, the easier it's going to be to maintain that balance. So make sure that you are bending your knees the entire time. All right, guys, and the bonus mistake number 5, and this really, like I said in the beginning of the video, encompasses all the other mistakes, because if you do this one right here, you're way more likely to make the other 5 mistakes, and that is going too big. So make sure you start small. You're hitting a jump that you feel completely comfortable with. You're not nervous. If you hit a jump that is beyond your level, that you're not ready for, you're going to start making those mistakes that I've listed in this video. So above all, make sure you start small and only move to a bigger jump when you feel completely comfortable with the smaller jump that you're currently on. If you do that, you'll make it way easier to avoid the 5 mistakes that we outlined in this video. All right, and that's it. those are the 5 plus the bonus mistakes that you don't want to make sure that you land your first jumps. As always, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Hit the notification bell and the subscribe button to stay up to date on future videos, including the rest of the videos in this jump series. And I'll see you in the next one.